If you have a narcissistic parent, you may have already noticed that they don't like to follow rules. And there's very specific reasons for this. They make up their own way of doing things. And in this video, I'm going to be talking about why narcissistic people, narcissistic parents particularly, do not follow the rules and what you can do about that. Hi, I'm Dr. Meg Haworth. I'm a transpersonal psychologist, holistic nutritional chef, and best-selling author of Get Well Now, Healing Yourself with Food and the Power of the Mind. And I help wounded ACONs, adult children of narcissists, to become healed icons. What's an icon? Somebody who's independent, confident, original, and naturally you. And I do this in my Iconic Me one-on-one therapeutic coaching program. I do it in my online course, Healing the 5 Primary Wounds of Parental Narcissistic Abuse. I do it also with the Shift Network on faculty with them, teaching courses on self-healing from narcissistic abuse. So I specialize really in how the body remembers abuse and how we can release the energy from the body-mind to help us heal our perception and help us heal our lives and our bodies. Okay, so let's get started on this. Like, why do they dismiss rules? Narcissistic parents, narcissists in general, they dismiss rules. They make up their own rules. They do something that I call first name justice. And so you can just insert the first name of the narcissistic parent in your life or person in your life. And so say their name's Joe. And so you say it's Joe Justice, because they do create their own rules. They create their own laws. If they don't want to follow something, they're going to dismiss it. And meanwhile, they may act like they're incredibly pious, really good people who follow the rules, and they want to project that image to other people in the world. So they may go to church and write big checks to donate to the church or to other people in your life, but they won't be donating to you or helping you out when you really need it, because they like to kick you when you're down, which is one of the difficult things with a narcissistic parent. If they don't want to follow a rule, they're just going to make one up. They're going to do whatever they want. Oh, I don't agree with that zoning law, so I'm going to do whatever I want to in my house and not apply the proper permits. There are things like that. And it can get way more heinous than that. And one of the things that they do when they do break these rules is they normalize these rules. They normalize breaking laws by acting as if, well, it's not that big of a deal when it might be something that could send them to prison. They literally do not care. It does not matter to them at all. They have this feeling of invincibility, and they have this feeling of, I'm right, you're wrong, and no one can dispute that. I'm right at all times. And this kind of thinking is very dangerous, and it's coming from 2 major places. And one of them is they don't take any accountability for anything that they do. They always use blame shifting, which is another one of the tactics that narcissistic parents, narcissists in general, use all the time, where they're turning the tables and making somebody else responsible for the very thing that they're doing. And this is one of the things that they hide behind. The narcissist is the person who will hide in plain sight. So they may be totally supporting something that they're actually doing illegally in the background. So they might be supporting a cause and, being the face of that cause, and they're actually doing the exact same thing in the background that they're railing against. That is not uncommon at all for a narcissistic person. And if you're on the inside and you're watching your narcissistic parent lie, you're watching them make up stuff that isn't true, that it's not the law, and they're making up their own laws, or they're violating the law clearly right in front of you, and then normalizing it, making it look like, well, it's really not that big of a deal. It's not something that you should be concerned about. But they act as if everything is fine. Now, another reason that they do this is because they have low to no empathy, which means they're not going to really look at the impact that this thing that they're doing might have on other people. So they just make up their own justice and their own code, and then they go by that and try to recruit everybody around them into believing that their code is the right code and yours is wrong. And they do this with all kinds of ways. They may use rage to try to get you to come in on their side, and they may use, of course, control, manipulation, all kinds of tactics that they use to try to get you to see their side. And you're not supposed to just see it, you're supposed to actually just accept it. And maybe you blindly accept it because that's your parent and you did that for years and years, and now you're just not willing to do it anymore. So one of the things that happens with us that are sensitive, intuitive, empathic, and kind people is that when we wake up to what our narcissistic parent has been doing all along, we realize how much we absolutely detest lying and hiding and all of these things that are going on in the background all the time that you're witnessing your narcissistic parent doing. And you get to a point where you just can't tolerate it anymore. You won't tolerate it anymore. And so what a lot of people do is they end up going no contact or low contact with this narcissistic parent. Sometimes I've known of people who actually would turn in their narcissistic parent to the police, especially if they were doing stalking behaviors, showing up unannounced in places that were, compromising or terrifying for the grandchildren, for instance. But they feel entitled to it. They don't have any empathy, so they're not going to think about how that's going to impact you. And they don't have the ability to self-reflect, to look at themselves and go, oh, wow, I probably shouldn't do this. This is toxic and mean and cruel, this thing that I'm doing. They just don't go there. Their minds don't think this way. And this is one of the hard things to grasp when you have a narcissistic parent, is that their minds are fixed in this particular way, where the way that they think is completely different than how an average caring, empathetic, kind person thinks. Somebody who just wants everybody to get along or things to work out or to work through things. They don't do any of that. They don't participate in that at all. It's not open for discussion to talk about, hey, let's have a family meeting and let's figure out how to do something differently. If they are doing anything like that, they're doing it as a way to manipulate you into doing what they want you to do for them. So it's always going to be that way with a narcissistic parent. They're really difficult people. They're the most difficult people on earth. And it's so hard to really understand that what they're doing is lacking in empathy, that they're not thinking about other people. They're not putting anyone else first. They're the only person on the list. And that makes it really hard for us as ACONs, adult children of narcissists, to be able to deal with the things that they're doing in the background, and that they're doing right in front of us when we do have this narcissistic parent who is completely self-absorbed and everything's about them. So you just have to do whatever it is that they want to do and roll with their manipulations, unless, you want to have these major consequences. This is also confusing. Having a narcissistic parent is really confusing in general. But when they start to dismiss rules and laws and things that could actually land them in jail, and they don't care. They genuinely don't care about the impact that they're having on other people, and they don't care about the impact they have on you, their own child. It's all about them. It's all about what they're going to do for themselves. So honestly, there's not a whole lot you can do about their justice systems other than removing yourself from the situation. You can turn them in, and I've known people who have turned in their parents for doing illegal things, especially when they're doing illegal, heinous things that they've been trying to normalize and make you accept as this is the way it is. You may end up having to do something like this. And it's so hard to do, but at the same time, if they're out there harming other people besides you, on top of you, they're harming other people and they're doing something illegal in the process, you may end up having to do something like that. I know this is a lot to swallow when you have a narcissistic parent. It's just so much to deal with. Or you might have a narcissistic sibling or mate or boss. And you may wonder why they just keep dismissing the rules and dismissing you. They honestly don't care. It's all about them. It's all about their sense of what justice is and their rules. So I know it's hard to deal with the impact that this has on you. And so if you're interested in maybe working with me, seeing the different things that I have to offer, I would love to talk to you. You can book a call for free. The links are in the comments in the description below. And then you can learn more about my work on meghaworth.com, meghaworth.com, where you can learn about the different things that I have going on that can help you. All of the resources on this YouTube channel. Oh my gosh, please like, subscribe, ring the bell, get more video notifications, because this particular channel has been incredibly helpful for people. Because I work with holistic solutions, I'm looking at your mental, emotional, physical, energetic, and spiritual. I'm looking at the whole package and helping people heal with my whole person integration technique. So, all right, well, thank you so much for watching this video. I really appreciate you. I'm Dr. Meg Haworth, and I hope this information will help you get well now.